Hello everyone, FPL Yellow Army here, and in today's video we're doing a wildcard video. Way! As you can see, I've got a new goalie, and as you can see, I had an awful game week number 6, 37 points. So check out the last lot of FPL options. We, my friends, are going to be on the rise. We're getting green arrows back. We're feeling it, all right? It's going to be much better, I assure you. But in this video, we will be going through my team selection video for game week 7. And yeah, we will review my game week 7 scores. Probably over the international break, I'd imagine. So over that weekend, you'll get a review and a short little preview of game week 8. Because of the fact there's a break in fixtures. But this is a very interesting one. Fair play, by the way, can I just say, to Alex Telles. What a goal. I know that's a bit unrelated, but I just had to put that in. Checking up on you guys this week. Do smash a like on it. Let me know your thoughts of this FPL game week 7. A lot of people are hitting the wild card. Or is it too early? Should we be doing it in game week 8? Well, yeah, alright, fair enough. But I just prefer the fixture swing for this week for me. But yeah, we're checking in for game week number 7. And at the end of the day, Watford obviously have got Leeds this game week. So I've kind of factored that into my thinking, but also with a wild card, you've got to think long term. So we've made these changes. If you didn't catch it, make sure you do check out a previous video that I did with the legend that is, of course, Stadium of Sports Jay on FPL Juice's channel. We did obviously on the roundup show, and I had my original team then, thought about my changes, went away, made those changes, and I appreciate that, Jay. Really do, for your advice. You helped me out there, mate. But we're locking in the team here and now. This is what I'm going for. And basically, I've thought about some small adaptations. I've been thinking about it for a long time. My idea was I was going to probably go in this game week with the wild card. I didn't fancy game week 4, but I kind of planned this at the start of the season. It's all kind of falling into place now, so it's good, really. Now, Watford obviously looking quite defensively leaky, so we have made the decision to bring out the Watford goalie, Ben Foster, and Daniel Bachmann. We had the double up. We thought it would go well, but the save points just haven't really come, unfortunately. So it is what it is at the end of the day. Like, we're not going to get too downhearted about it. But we are going to build towards fixtures now, and we're going to try and have something sustainable, something that works in my team for the next few game weeks. And that's why we've got in a player with fantastic fixtures. Now, you're probably going to say, Jose Malheiro de Sá, who's that? Well, he's actually started every single game. He's the new replacement from Rui Patricio, like-for-like replacement, Portuguese, very good goalkeeper. And, okay, fair enough, they've not been the clean sheet kings, but you've got to look at the fixtures they've had this season. Very, very difficult, first 3, and then the last 3 of those games, 2 clean sheets. So he's going to get more save points with these fixtures. He's going to get more clean sheet points, hopefully, with these fixtures. And he's a man in form. I know that it was a bit of a fluke, the goal that Jimenez scored, how he got the assist for that. Well, it's a good pass, I suppose, but it's not going to happen every week. It's one of those things. And, of course, it shot him straight up into the bonus points. He was on, like, 51 on the BPS system, which was crazy, really. But it is amazing when attacking potential comes from a goalie. I'm getting him in for the fixtures, because the fixtures, I've got to say, are very, very nice. And, actually, he's at quite a nice price point. I think we talked about this with Jay, that I can actually move down to a 4.5 like a David Raya in some point in the future, because, you know, Brentford fixtures are quite dodgy at the minute, but they do turn later on. And I'd imagine a lot of people will be hopping off Brentford soon, but I could actually kind of do that differently and go the opposite way. So that could be quite a nice thing to do. And I think ultimately you've got to just pick the players you think will do points. If you don't think that, then you might pick all the players that no one else has got, and then it could lead you down the wrong path. And you could be really, you know, wishing you hadn't even bothered. So I've gone with this guy. He's actually still quite differential, but we'll go on to talk about how a lot of the rest of my team is quite template. But, you know, template's not always a bad thing. If they're good players, people are flocking towards them because they're just people that we want to own, basically. So, yeah, Jose Sá, the fixtures are looking saucy. Newcastle, who at the end of the day are still not enough of a attacking goal threat. I know they conceded in the last few games, Wolves, but I think Newcastle haven't got much goal threat other than St Maximin maybe. But with Wilson still out, they were good against Watford, I suppose. They had chances, but they just didn't convert them. And, they've got Jacob Murphy playing in the attacking positions. They've got Matt Ritchie, can whip in a cross, but ultimately they haven't got that number 9 to finish it. Joe Linton's been very poor for a long time. And so Maximan wasn't that impressive against Watford, but did, of course, get the assist with that screamer against Watford from Sean Longstaff. So, at the end of the day, Newcastle, they're going to go for these games. They're desperate, but they still don't show those, creative chances. So that could be good if Jose can get a clean sheet in that one. And then Villa, okay, yeah, fair enough. Villa are a good offensive team, but I still think that Wolves will pick up, a lot of tight games this season. They are still adapting under Bruno Lage, but they're going to really get through games, and certainly in that Black Country derby, you'd imagine he goes for it. And then Leeds, okay, yeah, leaky, but save points. Leeds always love a shot, and Everton equally, they're fairly leaky, but the point is Calvert-Lewin is still out injured, and I think he'll probably be back by then. But that Everton attack, other than maybe Demarai Gray, there's so that what I'm saying is the fixtures long term are looking really, really nice for David Raya. And I could think about maybe swapping him out about game week 15 when some fixtures are better for someone else. But, I could even go with the rotating goalies, but I'm just not feeling it. I went with that to an extent last season. We didn't go with the start of this season because I suppose you could say it's rotating because I played Foster for a couple of games against Norwich and Newcastle, and I played Backman, but that was only because it was enforced. Backman obviously got injured for the Newcastle game, and we got benched for rotation for the Norwich game. So, yeah, I think it's just less of a headache to have the single goalie playing. The 4 million goalkeepers that just bench warm are actually more of a thought to think, okay, I can invest in the rest of my team. And obviously, I could get the unfortunate thing of, oh dear, Jose Sarr is out, I'm going to have no one come in for him. But that's kind of a thing I can address if and when it happens. Like, I don't need to think about it now. It's still very early in the season. So, yeah, I'm very happy with this pick. And I think at 5 million, he represents some decent value. So, let's move on to the rest of my team. In defence, we've gone for an interesting formation once again. We're changing things up, really, but we've gone for a 3 at the back. And I know it's risky. I know that people will say, why are you playing Cancelo against Liverpool? But the main thing is, I brought him in because I just think he's great value. And we saw it against Chelsea, even if it was a bad fixture. Actually, Man City are one of the best defences in the league, and actually Cancelo is so attacking. Now, Liverpool is not ideal, I know, but Jota might not play that game because Firmino could be back. So that's a different kind of thing for Cancelo to be up against. Also, Trent Alexander-Arnold is looking to be likely out for a few weeks. So what does that mean? It means I have to get a replacement. And at the end of the day, Cancelo is probably near him on attacking threat. Now, I am worried, obviously, the Pep Roulette, but I think Cancelo is pretty nailed. And you've got to think long term with a wild card. Liverpool's not ideal, but he's got so much attacking threat, you'd probably regret benching him a little bit like a lot of people had the pain of last week against Chelsea. So why not just play him, see how he does. If it's a 0-0, which has happened before with Liverpool Man City, then great. But he's got attacking threat, and you've got to look long term. Man City's fixtures do make a nice turn, and Cancelo is just he's good for his value really. So yeah, that's what I've gone with. I've got Azpilicueta in there as well, which is a bit of a left field punt, I suppose, maybe not. But the Chelsea defence is much sought after at the minute, and I've gone with him just because I think he's more nailed than Marcus Alonso. Now, I know that sounds funny because what's Chilwell done to suggest he comes back in, but I just think, Tuchel can do that whenever he likes, whereas with Reece James, I'd imagine he'd be out for longer, and even Azpilicueta can fit into that centre-back spot. He doesn't always have to play on the right, so I think he's fairly, comfortable playing there, and I thought about Christensen, but I just don't know. You could play Trevor Chalobah in there, you could play Thiago Silva alongside Rudiger, so I'm not sure if a little bit of Christensen is always going to play. But we'll see. If they play a back three, I suppose, in centre-backs and then a 2 wing-backs, then they could see Christensen start. But I've just gone with Azpilicueta. He's got quite a good goal threat. And I think, his goal threat is underrated because in his time at Chelsea, he has actually got some crosses in, got some attacking contributions. And I think when Morata was at the club, you often see them linking up. A fantastic crosser of the ball, and Morata a really good header of it. But hopefully that can continue with Lukaku in the team. He does have a lot of aerial strength, and we saw Azpilicueta actually linking up with Lukaku in that Villa game that Azpilicueta did play. And I know that he didn't start that game even when Reece James was out with suspension, but I still think now he's got more chance of playing. And we also saw Alonso get subbed off in the midweek against Juventus. I don't know what that's about. I guess the yellow card, perhaps. I've got this nagging feeling about Chilwell, and I know that he probably won't start, but you never know when he could. So, yeah, that's why I've gone for that, really. And Rudiger, all right, I was thinking about Reece James. I was thinking about Thiago Silva, but you just got to think, at the end of the day, get the players that are going to get points. And Rudiger's the most nailed Chelsea defender. He's actually got quite a good amount of attacking threat. Probably the same amount as Thiago Silva, to be fair, but I just think Rudiger's just a better option long term, and he just looks really, really confident in that Chelsea team right now. So, yeah, it's very saucy back three, I think. A lot of clean sheet chance going forward, but also right now a lot of attacking potential. We've got to speed on because I'm getting quite slow at this. In midfield, though, for my wild card, I've got Rafinha, Benrahma, Salah, and Sarr. That is pretty flames. Now, I know you're going to say, oh, why get Rafinha on a wild card? Because you can get anyone you want. I get you. I do get you. But I just honestly think Rafinha will play. And if he doesn't, then obviously I'll take it with a pinch of salt. I'll take it on the chin. But with the fixtures, I can't not have a Leeds player. I know they've not been scoring goals and they've been linking loads, but I just think Rafinha's got so much attacking threat, and you can own him even if you got mini league rivals who own him, because he's just that kind of player who on his day is so much of a threat for your rank. And Watford, I know this is a bit of a pessimistic view, but we are looking like one of the worst defences in the league at the minute, and especially away from home we are conceding goals. So I think Rafinha is a bit of a left field captain's shout for this week. Differential, of course. I don't think many people will, but maybe some Leeds fans, who knows. I just think he's the sort of player who could give someone like Danny Rose an absolute mare. Rose has had a great season so far for Watford, and he's put in great performances against Newcastle and Norwich, but it's the sort of thing where I feel like it could all change, because Rafinha is just that kind of quality, really. And especially with Bamford out injured, Leeds need Rafinha to perform all the more. So I think, yeah, just hold him and just go with it, because Harrison has only just come back from COVID, and Dan James is getting subbed off left, right, and centre. He's not getting enough minutes. So there's not really anyone else from Leeds I would think about. Obviously, it's not ideal to bring them in against my own team, but you've got to think that Watford is a good fixture in FPL terms, and then after that they've got some really good fixtures. Just looking at that quickly, obviously we know that there's a hip injury, but I think he's going to be fine. So Southampton, Wolves and Norwich is a really nice run of green fixtures, and then after that, okay, not the best, but with Leeds they score against anyone. They're so attacking. So yeah, Diaz Beloli is in the team. Let's hope he does the bits. Benrahma, Brentford, okay, fair enough. West Ham in Europa League, but you got to think about who are the good FPL options. And Benrahma, he's nailed in that West Ham team, provided that he's not playing loads of Europa League minutes. And the fixture run for West Ham is consistent. It's not spectacular, I'll admit. And I did think about a bit of Jack Grealish. I did think about it, but we saw when the start of the season I had Jack Grealish, he wasn't really getting attacking positions enough. And I know that City's fixtures will turn, but I just think Benrahma is consistently at the front of that team. He's a bit of an out-position player. He plays so forward. And Brentford is a good fixture. Everton, okay, could score there. And Spurs and Villa, okay, let's just kind of wait and see. So I think Saïd Benrahma is a bit of a set-and-forget option. Obviously did blanking against in Game Week 3 against Palace. But, Brentford, all right, they're defensively quite stubborn. But Benrahma's just so good on the break, and I think he can counteract that. Salah, of course, you have to have Big Mo. If there's one player who you need to have every single game week, I don't care what you're doing, whether you're doing a triple captain, a wild card, a free hit, Salah has to be there. He is so, so good, and, he's just essential, really. Man City, obviously, is a tough fixture, but he scored against them before. That lob from the halfway line, he can do it. So if you captain Salah, I don't think you've lost your marbles. I think he's still an FPL legend, but obviously it's going to be tougher. And I think that he's not going to get as many points as he usually would. But hopefully, if Cancelo does concede, then at least Salah can get some points. Sarr, what a baller. Now, he's a bit like Benrahma in the respect he's actually playing a little bit out of position. He's playing as one of the front three, but down as a midfielder in the game, and he's just been legendary. And as you can see there, got the star next to his name. He's been in the team of the season recently, and yeah, he's just been so good. I just don't know where to go wrong with him. I know the fixtures for Watford aren't ideal because we have a really unfortunate fixture swing, and actually the three fixtures that we had, Wolves, Norwich and Newcastle, we should have made more out of really, from an FPL perspective, but also Watford perspective, because to beat Norwich, obviously you kind of expect that, you hope that's going to be happening. And then Newcastle and Wolves really were missed opportunities, I think, especially Wolves, off the back of a decent performance against Spurs. We were just so flat in the second half, and Newcastle, we really should be beating them because of the fact that they're injury plagued and not scoring goals and all that. But in the circumstances, it was a good result because Newcastle had chances and we really did hang on for bits of it. But then, of course, we did score, but it was disallowed from Joshua King VAR. So it's that kind of game. I think we got a chance here. Leeds are leaky, and I think Watford can score goals, as we saw. We've got confidence right now, and Sarr is just such a baller of a player. So that's my midfield. And then my front three, Ivan Toney is a bit of a long-term punt because I think he's just scoring goals against anyone, and he can get assists. He's so influential. He's on penalties as well, a bit like Ismaila Sarr is. And, Brentford just look a great team this season. So I think West Ham is not the worst fixtures. They've been conceding goals. And Tony's on pens, as I mentioned. You got to kind of look beyond this couple of game weeks. But as a 6.5 option, I think he's the best one. Armstrong maybe is just not quite as consistent. Southampton aren't that team that get results every week. And you're not going to go for Pukki because Norwich are just struggling so much right now. So, yeah, Ivan Toney still in my team. I say still, I sold him game week 3, and that was, of course, the week that he started to be an FPL option. So hopefully he can carry on the form. Michail Antonio in the same match, of course. It's going to be pretty crazy, really, that fixture on Sunday with 3 West Ham and Brentford players. But we'll go for it. We'll see what happens. I think it will be a face-off of the forwards because Antonio is just a baller. Like, he's so good. And he came straight back into the team. The transfer in for Antonio this week, and Bamford was brought out last week, so he did it straight away, got the impact goal, and Brentford is still a good fixture despite their defensive ups and downs. I think West Ham, Antonio, they're just so good, and Benrahma and Antonio link up really well, so I think they could get some points equally. And yeah, I just think he's a good shout for captaincy, but I'm going with Lukaku because that's a great fixture. Lukaku is Lukaku at the end of the day. I know Southampton have been defensively improved, but you got to think Chelsea are going to go for that game. And the fixture run is unbelievable. So Lukaku is just a set and forget captain, really. So yeah, that is my team, people. We've made quite a few changes. Foster, Ben White, Livramento, Douglas Luiz is what our bench is looking like. And then in terms of just showing you what my transfer history has been over the last few weeks with this wild card, it's been pretty manic, I'll be honest. And I know you're thinking, what are you doing? Because I've got 2.9 million in the bank. But just hear me out, all right? So look at all these transfers, man. It's ridiculous. Like, honestly, I've just been making decision after decision. And eventually we've got there. So, yeah, this is the formula, basically, for the perfect Game Week 7 wildcard team. We're not making any more transfers. Just go with the flow. Be happy with the team. And, yeah. Let's just hopefully get some more points. Now, obviously, the money in the bank is an issue. Let's just say we might change one player just to use up that money, but it won't change drastically really from here. So that's my team locked in. I hope you have enjoyed my FPL preview. Foster, obviously, I don't think he'll get a clean sheet against Leeds. You could see it happen, but even though he starts, I think Rafinha and Harrison are such threats, and we haven't kept a clean sheet all season. So I think it's when I've not got a injury for the other goalie, I've got a starting one against Newcastle. You got to back Jose. And Ben White, Brighton, all right, yeah, it's a good fixture on paper. Obviously against his former side, all the things that come with that, but he's got no attacking threat, and he's just a budget option for fixtures and clean sheets. Whereas Cancelo's got the chance for clean sheet if it's 0-0, and he's also got attacking threat. But I just think Arsenal are a bit of a trap right now defensively. They could concede soon. But obviously, he will do still quite well over the next few game weeks. Livramento is a bench player. Still stays in there. I know it's boring, but he's just such good fixtures, and he's such a great value for the defence that Southampton have been pretty decent this season. Obviously, he's trailing off in the last few weeks, but they'll get back to form. And then Douglas Luiz, 4.5 million, bench fodder. He's probably better than Brownhill. So thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.